All right. Hey, welcome back to the Go for CEO channel. This is John the Bomb. Building others means business. And I've got two powerhouses on the stage today looking to do a great interview. So brace for impact because these guys come with some heat on the marketing side, on the just the development of relationships, of networking, and the power that they've been able to do in this space is pretty awesome. So Blitz B Marketing co-founders Monika and Rick, welcome to the Go for CEO channel. How are you guys?
So
Doing
good.
so good.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, look, I know that one of the cool things is that with this technology nowadays over the last few years, I've had a chance to interview people from Ireland and from Australia. I know today you guys are either in Chicagoland or in Florida, and you'll soon to be in the Philippines. But how cool is it that you run a business that has that type of dynamic, right? So, we typically start with our guests telling us a little bit about the ideation. Blitzby is a cool name, so it's got a cool brand. Obviously, meaningful things behind it. So I'll let you guys kind of share that story. But why don't we start with that? Is how maybe you guys met, how you ideated this concept of Blitzby, and where you started from there.
It's such a great story. So I was writing a software in 2007 with two friends, and we were watching the group buying software coming together, which was Groupon, Living Social, Guilt City. And we started to see patterns. And we also were watching those companies be built and sold, built and sold. And my friend says, we could do this. We could do this differently because we start seeing patterns. So three of us got together. One was a software developer, and two of us owned our own businesses at the time. And so we get together for over 3 years. We do this. Now, we weren't overly serious about it, but we were definitely digging in. We were writing something, and we decided to create a gaming app, and it was called Grasshopper. So that when you signed in, you'd still get a good discount on products and services, but the price would hop. So depending on the time that you signed into the app, the price would be different. So you were motivated to come back and try again and again to get the better price. So we start doing this. 2010, our lives changed. It was as though God reached down and moved the pieces on the board. And so we didn't continue in this software because we just did different things. There was no drama. There was no anything about it. Rather, we just, like I said, God moved the pieces on the board. And so I went I've been developing schools, actually, vocational schools since the 1900s. And I was drawn to put a school in Saugatuck, Michigan. And at that time, Saugatuck was getting 240,000 visitors during season. And then you have the locals the rest of the year round. And I always felt like I should put a healing, or that the place needed a healing school. So I opened one there. And so I've had the pleasure of developing 6 different schools, placing curriculum into community colleges, teaching business development, marketing, practice management, sales to healthcare career professionals, including physicians, chiropractors, PTs, manual therapists, the whole gamut. So I actually founded Blitzby, which at the time wasn't called Blitzby. And Monika joined me because was my student in massage school. I had a school in Michigan. It was in Monika's neighborhood. And the truth is, we really like each other as humans. Like, we just think we're good humans, we're good friends. And we have conversations that are forward thinking, and we like to create, and we like to create together. So we just kind of are in that conversation one day. And because of the holistic background that we both share, it became an interesting conversation to make this available to public. So mindset training, thinking about, the core value of my recent school was mindset training. So the core curriculum is predicated by mindset training.
Mm.
And understanding that you can't take anyone anywhere that you haven't been yourself. Like, if you don't remove limitations for yourself, you're certainly not removing limitations with others. You're just not inspiring a context bigger than the one that you have. And so I met Monika in 2014, and in 2018, I think it was, I invited Monika to join this experience as we were thinking about, actually, we did start doing some group events where we would do a weekend conversation with business owners from a holistic point of view, mindset training, some practical tactical strategies related to sales and marketing, and also getting them grounded in their bodies. Like, what does self-care look like for the entrepreneur? And we started that as the mindful entrepreneur. And the mindful entrepreneur, our friends, you know, who were customers, clients, and participants on these weekends started saying to us, I did a search for the mindful entrepreneur to learn that there's somebody wrote a book called The Mindful Entrepreneur. It wasn't you. As marketers, we never thought about looking up the URL. We never thought about doing any search. We just weren't of that mindset. We were just like, whatever, we're doing the thing and we're doing the thing. So we go through this branding exercise. It was during that time that I invited Monika to join the company that I founded, and she said yes. And it was, well, the way that I have it is that we just like each other and we like hanging out together. So we gave each other a work, something to share. Sometimes today we are both looking like, oh, we shouldn't have shared this work. Like we should have done something else, like travel together, you know, and we do travel well together. We're good friends. And so Monika joined. And when she joined, it became a great contribution to the company, to the relationships, to the team. My first employee has been with me for 15 years. And so this is a long journey that we're on. And, you know, I love this phrase, life is short. I have it differently. Life is long, and it's as long as it is. And as long as you're here, you want to do something with your life. You know, like I had a mentor say to me once, she was in her almost 80 years old, first African-American, first woman in every position of her life. And she only went to college when the admissions department said to her, you've got to say that you're Latin. You cannot say that you're Black. Otherwise, we can't let you in. Now imagine that being the reality of someone's experience. So she says to me, you know, I didn't live this long to learn nothing. And so that's what I'm up to in my world. Like I realize I'm not here just to learn nothing, you know. So when I think about Blitzby and I think about mindset training and I think about those schools at that time, my personal mission is to create transformation. And when I have conversations with people around their businesses, around marketing, around strategy, it's always about the mindset. It's about limitation and how people perceive what's possible. And then our job is to align with tools. What are the tools that take them on the journey that they're looking to create? I'm sure you didn't want to hear all that, but anyway, thanks for listening.
No, that was phenomenal. I mean, what a path you were on, right? And selective, I guess, input, right, and downloading from what you were guided to do with Sog Talk and these schools, and then all of a sudden meeting this wonderful partner that you would have eventually in business, right? So, Monika, would you want to add a little color to that of what Rick said, or did he kind of share most of everything that you would say?
Well, there's a couple other things. We created Blitz B. The Blitz is that running around, you know, as business owners, there's so many pieces of what we do in one day, even just one day, that sometimes we get in that to-do list and we just go on that hamster wheel. I am guilty of that regularly. And so the Blitz is that running around, and then the B is who are we being while we're running around, while we're checking our to-do list, while we're there, and can we bring that into balance? And so the name of the business, Blitz B, is bringing that, you know, both the right and the left sides of our brain and the crazy and the calm together in balance. And so I just wanted to add that for sure.
Yeah, we totally were going through a branding exercise, a traditional branding exercises. We had the 100 names, and we're at my old place in the dining room with our computers up, and we're so official, and we're just going into the grind, and we couldn't get there. And so we just didn't like anything that we looked at the time. And then eventually I say, you know what? I don't like any of these, but I love Blitzby. And Monika goes, what? And I'm like, I don't even know where that came from. I don't even know what, I never even heard of Blitzby. So I don't know what that is. But if we look at Blitzby as a word, Blitz means race, 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 like Monika was saying, hurry, hurry, hurry. B means coming back to your body, coming back to self. So as a word, what we say is Blitzby means balance. And it is the struggle that every human, every entrepreneur has. You know, there's so much to accomplish in a day and so many people to work with and support in a day. So of course, balance eludes all of us. Look at these eyes. See that luggage? I earned that luggage.
I love it. I love it. Well, look, I mean, obviously the journey of being able to form a company and put the branding together, the idea, taking your historical experience, right, of all the things that you guys were doing, separately in your own businesses and things that you were experiencing to put together Blitzbee is pretty awesome. So those beginning 90 days, 180 days, a lot of times in the Go for CEO community, we like to know, what did that look like, right? It sounded like you were in different industries, right? But still kind of patterned it back into what it could be for Blitzbee. What are those first 6 months to a year feeling like if you take us back to those beginning days?
I would say like excitement, honeymoon, super beautiful, creative, empty whiteboard, like nothing on it. And being willing to always come from nothing, coming from nothing, creating the next thing, noticing that everybody has a different challenge. So we can certainly come from, the experience of having worked through someone's challenge. But when it comes to some of the creative strategies that we have and that we use, they're unusual, they're not standard. So we really get the pleasure of creating a new conversation with people. And at the time, we were working with a lot of people in healing industry, including education, service providers like spas, continuing education, kind of always being available just to support people.
Mm.
The good news, bad news, it's really good news to support people. Bad news is we were selling to poor people. Like there's a phrase, don't sell to poor people. That's a real thing. And here
Mm.
we lived in the learning of that. Like, what are we doing? We're not in front of the audience that's going to take us anywhere, but certainly emotionally and spiritually, it felt wonderful to impact people in a way they just had not been impacted before, and to create a level of transformation. Now, there's a lot of conversation to be had there, but the first 90 days of our relationship was a result of me saying to Monika and noticing the reality of like, I have these products, she has those products. How about we blend these products and create equity between us, so that as we made marketing products available, that was a particular price point different than making a yoga class available, just as an example.
Mm.
So that was kind of the meeting of the minds and the interest in creating value, that came with equity. So those first 90 days, total honeymoon, super excited. We still have honeymoon moments, and then we have reality moments like, okay, we're in it to win it, and it takes something. And the world is changing fast right now, and it's changing. The tools are changing fast because now we have AI, and how do you, work practically speaking in that world, which we do work in AI, and we have since it became available and democratized. We're a marketing company. AI is laced through our systems, but it's a new conversation with new opportunities for business owners who don't understand how to use those tools or understand the language around how does that apply.
Monica, any feedback on that?
Not really. Yes, the first part was interesting, challenging, and exciting. All of the things. When you go through it. This was my first business, like in a big way. I had a couple other businesses, but this was different, and being online was different too. So, just really, we were on Zoom before before COVID, before everybody else was. So it was our lifestyle. Like we were just always on Zoom. So it really didn't make too much of a difference. When everybody else got on Zoom, it made it easier for us actually, because we were already doing it. So it was just wonderful to be able to be on Zoom with more and more and more business owners, for sure.
Yeah, I love, I wrote down real quick impact. And I've felt that from you guys, just getting to know you and building a relationship over the last year or so, and joining forces on the town program and stuff. When you said impact, right? There's social impact, there's businesses that you said, like, you can't sell to the poor. And that's true, right? But what I've felt is your knowledge and some of the things that you do that are freemiums, right? Maybe webinars and these types of things will add value to the marketplace. And those people that maybe can't afford you will pick up on a nugget or two and get themselves to a place where they hopefully can become clients right in the future. So that's pretty cool too. So tell us a little bit about, over the last few years, obviously you just mentioned you guys were kind of a, tech AI enabled company from the beginning. You've always kind of been a little bit ahead of the curve with creativity, with technology and those types of things. In your world, when you started to talk to people over the last 3 to 5 years and they became up to speed with AI and Zoom and all that stuff, what are some challenges that have been happening from a business perspective of how you've had to relay that and how they need to pivot with their marketing or their media and advertising buys and all that stuff.
The biggest conversation that lives in the AI space was related to ChatGPT really about a year ago, when in our community, we're surrounded by attorneys and wealth professionals and other professional service executives. And so the biggest lack in the community was information and understanding what the tool was, including language, like how do we have the conversation? And then, in dealing with that, we had to really confront the mindset, because the attorney is the risk management expert. They really get how to think through what is the risk of using this tool. And some of the risk of using the tool is that the tool, quote unquote, hallucinates. And so it shows up with information that's not real. And that's actually a real term used in the AI world. ChatGPT hallucinates, Grok hallucinates, Claude hallucinates. They all do. And so in the some of the conversations I recently presented to the Chicago Bar Association, to the Commercial Litigation Committee, and one of the questions was, well, why should we trust ChatGPT when we know it gives us false information? Why should we? My answer was really simple. Like, you shouldn't. You should trust yourself. And in fact, you're not entitled to use the tool. The tool is just a tool. The tool wasn't built for you. So you have to be discriminating when you think about using the tool, and you have to consider what it means to use the tool. So if you're standing in front of the judge and you're producing or presenting false case law, it means something. It means you're going to get fired, which happened. And I'm an employer. So if my employee used AI inappropriately and presented that as his or her work, they would be fired. And that's just the reality of being an employer and a reality of accountability. And that is the challenge in the conversation. The challenge is, it's not a commonly known tool, not a commonly used tool, so it doesn't live in the common culture. What lives in the business culture is the extent that people have used the tool or explored the tool to create something for themselves or their clients. Now, go back a year when I did, like a year and a half, I did my first presentation to a group of attorneys, some other professional service people, and there was 24% adoption in the room for AI in their business, versus today it's over 79% adoption, which is within less than a year. And that's a dramatic statement. So when you think about change management, there's almost not enough time in a day to include a conversation around a tool that nobody knows how to talk about. You might struggle through the conversation, and you might struggle through the understanding simply of language. So I personally like to keep it really simple and articulate. I'm writing a book related to that, just big concepts, small bites. I'll announce that later, but really an important concept. That in itself is an important concept. Take big concepts and keep it in small bites. We don't need to fluff it up. It's already fluffy, so to speak.
So that a fifth grader could learn it, right? Is always the experience of the human nature of where we lean back to our fifth grade amygdala, right, brain, of saying, okay, is it as simple as a fifth grader can learn it? I have a fifth grader right now, so it's funny. I coached fifth grade basketball this year, and the skill set was not good, and we needed to kind of bring it to a normalized level so that they could dribble better and all that stuff. So it's very in tune to business, right? And giving them the simple steps and understanding how they can use it. But tools are a big deal. I heard recently too on another podcast that the guy was, claiming like, hey, he's one of the AI experts out there in the world. He was saying, hey, business owners, stop hiring and start getting tools. Like, start buying tools instead of hiring people, which is a weird, it's an impactful statement, right? And it could, put a little fear into the workforce, right? That you could just get a tool and replace you, that type of thing. But interesting conversation. So take us back to, you formed Blitzby. It's in marketing, digital media assets, all these types of things. What are some of the steps that you take as a combined effort, right? Obviously, you both bring different strengths to your partnership. What do you do with a client that is kind of different from either the I guess, the discovery stage or to the implementation of a program? What do you guys do?
Monica, go ahead.
Well, we start with a strategy session, and we use that strategy session similar to the way you'd go to the doctor. The doctor's not going to diagnose you and hand you a pill in 2 minutes. You're going to have some diagnosis that has to occur. And so we really take the time to look at the business and to talk with the business owner, looking at the business operations, the sales, the marketing, what's happening, where does the business want to go, where does the human want to take the business, how quickly do they want to move or take the business somewhere different, is it what is it about for them, and what's their big dream, what is their big dream for their business. So then that's the higher level, and then we take it down step by step by step through a process so that we can really understand their business, really ask questions to get their brains thinking too about their business. And then we really uncover what might be missing, where could we put some automations in, how can the tools that we have support them, where's the mindset that could support them. And so we go through a process for 3 hours, really looking at all of those pieces, really supporting the human, because we're the business doesn't have a place without the human. So we just look at that and help the human, and then we move from there, depending on what the needs are, where the business is going. We look at their website or their funnel. We look at social media strategy. We look at traffic. Are they bringing in traffic, organic traffic, or is it something from they're using ads from somewhere, or what is the business doing? What's the reputation campaign or strategy that they're using? And we go through all those pieces with them so that we can really see where are they going, how quickly do they want to get there.
Nice. Rick, any to add?
When we do the strategy session, it's as much a coaching and learning session for the business owner as it is a discovery session around what tools they're using, all the things Monica mentioned, and what tools are available. People really don't know what some of the things are. And there's a lot of places now where you can eliminate your tech stack. Like we have a product, Click Riot, that you can eliminate your tech stack, most of their tech stack. It doesn't apply for everyone, and it's a good tool for everyone to just review for where can I replace my tech stack, which means if I'm using 4 different software, could I do the 4 different things under one umbrella of software? Or if I have 17 different software, can I use one umbrella of software? And we're just really in discovery and, again, coaching. Working, just as an example, working with a gentleman who is creating a franchise out of his business. And we just did this strategy session last week, and such a powerful conversation, because as a business owner, this is a seasoned business owner, I think 25 years in business, operating a certain way with certain functions, and a really successful business. Now, without systems and tools in place, still a very successful business. But imagine with tools and systems in place, what could the business do? And where could the business be in its productivity? And as a result of franchising, how could it reach an audience to sell the franchises? So, think of 2 prongs of that business. One is the franchise, in building franchisees, a list of users, versus building clients to distribute to those users. So it's a really profound conversation. The 3-hour conversation is a deep dive into the business to really examine what's going on, what could be going on.
It's interesting. I mean, every business has a different way to kind of do a discovery concept, right? The questions that you ask are obviously related to what you could provide as solutions. But I mean, I think the general conversation with a CEO, an entrepreneur, someone that is looking to build something is really still of that same mindset. So you guys talked a lot about mindset and that discovery, the questions. How did you guys develop? Was it through data analysis or through just, let's say you had 5 questions you used to ask and then you eliminated one after 3 months and plugged in another one? What were some of the strategies of how you grew to have a really effective, 2-3 hour meeting?
Such a great question. Like, I think that that reflects the learning of the business owner, meaning myself, Monica. Like that question just really reflects our own learning. So, the way we engage clients 5 years ago, we just don't engage them that way. And then the way we engage clients a year ago, we don't engage that way. And in fact, on the one hand, it becomes a refined experience. You're refining as you learn. Every business owner is teaching us. And then we're getting data from the experience like, oh, this is really great because look now where they're going. And then realizing, okay, the tools have changed. When you think about working online, so we're a digital marketing a firm, and so as the tools change for the firm, the tools change for the clients. In one context, you have a set of questions, but when the context changes, the questions then have to change. In digital marketing, the tools change, as do the algorithms. And so and there's a gazillion tools, right? All you got to do is get on Facebook, you see 1,000 tools in 5 minutes. And so it's becoming, I think we're like the AI now. So we're learning as we're doing, and we're shifting as we're doing. So such a great question to notice, like our engagement and our process has changed because we have refined it over time by getting the data from the business owner to look at, well, what are the deeper needs here? Here's an example. We build audiences. We look at about 80 billion different data points using AI, and we produce about 60 data points for the user. So if you're trying to get in front of an audience, what is better? Advertising by, to demographics, the male, female, 35 to 55, professional services, drinks red wine versus white wine, has 14 children, has a PhD. Think about those demographics. Now, is that who you want to reach to? Or do you want to reach to the person who's actually looking for your services? One answer provides a succinct strategy that is different than the other answer. And of course, when you build an audience of people who are looking for you, your close rate just increases because you're refining your outreach to match the person who's looking for you, which means you're saving money. You're not spending as much money on your outreach. And also the system that we build for you as a result of building that audience, we have an entire system we build to move people through a level of automations, filtering who the client is, do they qualify, things like that before they ever land on somebody's desk.
Nice. Monica, anything to add?
Not really. That was perfect.
I love it. I love it. Well, you guys have a cool dynamic, right? And obviously you lean on each other's strengths and weaknesses and kind of help each other out in business. And as you communicate, one of the things that I always love asking is, your scalability, right? Obviously you've been in business for a few years, and, over the time, I'm assuming that it's not just been you and Rick, right, Monica, to grow the business. So can you give us a little bit of the journey of bringing on new talent, or have you used more of an independent contractor model where you're bringing on agreements and workforce scenarios and projects and that type of thing? What's that dynamic look like for you guys?
Go ahead.
We have two teams. We have a technology team and we have a fulfillment team. We do bring in people for projects. We have a fundamental, basic, foundational two teams, and then we bring in other people for projects when we need them. We like the model. We like the model that we have. We also are pretty committed to staying small. We don't want a lot of people to manage, so we have a small team. We hover around 10. We bring in people around 10 and we let people go. So we'll be lower than 10. We try not to go bigger. I think we've been up to 14. We built a call center. We did that probably for about a year and a half, and had a really robust, team activities going on. Again, as the tools change, we can change our teams. One of the things to always keep in mind, that I keep in mind, is as an employer, people depend on us. So it's not a quick and easy influx or outflow of human resources. people who are building lives as a result of their work in the company. You know, our team has homes, they have cars, they have children. And so it's not a quick and easy conversation around employment, but we do have the standard fundamental fulfillment team and the tech team, and then we bring in people, you know, to come and go when we need them.
Nice.
Always
So
looking for new people, by the way, who we can do that for. So if you know somebody for a project, please introduce them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look, you know, it's interesting. I think business has changed in certain industries where they have that flexibility, right? And people have changed because entrepreneurship in general over the last, I think, 10, 15 years has become more of a buzz, right? We were all rooted from the establishment of 1770s, right? And people becoming the USA. A lot of entrepreneurs, I think it was 90% back in those days, were entrepreneurs because everybody was, all right, let me do this, or let me sell corn, or let me da da da. And then we became more of an industrialized country, right, over the last 100 years. But I think over the last 10, 15 years, it feels like everybody's going for CEO, right? Like they want to be the CEO of their own life. They want to be able to manage their life in a way that they feel comfortable. And it could be independent contractor, right? It could be linking up with Blitzby for a 3-month project and then having another source that they have another 6-month project and having that lifestyle behind it. So it's a really cool time in life to be a part of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship, as I affectionately call it. So let's talk about scaling from a financial perspective. You know, I'll put on my commercial banker hat. Obviously, you know, many businesses start with bootstrapping, right, with the sources and resources that they have, and become resourceful, trying to find ways to grow and advertise. It all takes money. So what are some of the ways that you guys have used your resources? Is it, as an example, maybe you get a nice project for 10 grand and then you allocate a certain amount of money for your own back end marketing of your own business to grow your clientele? What are some of the ways that you guys have used either finance or bootstrapping?
Monica, go ahead.
Well, we are totally bootstrapped. There's no financing. We haven't used a bank for anything. And we do kind of what you said. You know, we'll take a project in and then we look at how we're going to allocate those monies depending on what's happening in our business, how many, you know, business owners we're working with, and then also how many employees we have at the time and what we need to do with that allocation of money. So it has really been all bootstrapping, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy that we're doing it that way. So yeah.
Yeah, it can be challenging, but also rewarding, right? So how about you, Rick?
Yeah, I was just reflecting on like you know, we're funnel hackers. We follow Russell Brunson, #1 marketer in the world, and love his work. We just with him in Vegas, and not personally, by the way. And you know, Russell and Todd are the two owners of ClickFunnels, and they've done over $1 billion in online. Russell has done over $1 billion in online sales personally, and their company was offered $1 billion a couple of years ago that they turned down. And I also appreciate that Monica and I have used our own money and we've used our own resources to grow the company. And you know, in this kind of work, the one way that you manage the financial demand is to generate leads, close leads, and serve clients. And so it's a really simple formula. And then whatever the drama is that gets in the way of that is just what the human brings, having nothing to do with, well, that's the simple formula. Our strategy session is a fee-based experience. You know, it's a 3-hour workshop style experience when we work with clients. And then fulfillment on whatever the strategy is from there is revenue. When you think about growing the team bigger or not bigger, the conversation has changed because of AI. So now what you're looking at is building your fundamental systems with using AI and using automations, and how those particular tools can move the company forward. So it's not the same conversation as it was even 6 months ago, because in the sphere now are AI agents and automations, which are different than what it looked like even 6 months ago. So the technology is changing quickly, and the opportunity for all of us as business owners is also changing quickly. I had the pleasure of speaking to Lori Dan's group recently, the President's Leadership Council on AI agents and automations, and 70 business owners and the presidents of businesses in the room. And just noticing, reflecting back from the audience, people just not knowing this conversation, not understanding that these tools are available now, available to all of us now. But we don't always all have a resource, a human resource to go to for that particular purpose. So just throwing all that into the conversation.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think of chapter 2, so shameless plug of my book. We talk about aligning, right? You've assessed the problem, you've kind of analyzed where you're at, and then you go to alignment, right? Who can you reach into your circle of influence, or who knows someone who can align you with the right resources and tools? So it's really cool. Like you were speaking at Lori Dan's event, then you meet 70 or 80 business owners that now know you, right? And your brand expands from there, and they go to Blitzby for other services, stuff like that. It's really cool stuff. So awesome, guys. Well, look, at the end of our interviews, we typically go through CEO, which is client experience, E is for engagement, and O is for operational excellence, which is the tools and things that you use. We've touched on many of those areas during the conversation today, but if you say a 60-second high level, if you both want to take a stab at it, client experience from a Blitzby perspective, what is the client going to be expecting within their client experience with you guys?
Well, they can expect us to look at the morose, to look at what's standing in the way from wherever they are to where they want to be. Some of that is mindset, some of that is practical tool, tactical strategy, and they can expect us to walk through in a really fun, relaxed manner to getting them through that process. What I like to say in my own networking group that I run, Chicago 11, plugging my group, improvisers, is we do serious business in a not so serious way. And that comes from Blitzby. We like to do serious business in a not so serious way. We want to have fun and fulfilling moments as we're working through hard problems, because sometimes business owners are challenged in a really serious way and they just need a life, what do you call that? A life saver.
Lifeline.
Yeah, lifeline. Yeah. So that's what I think what a fair way to express what people can expect in working with Blitzby.
Anything to add, Monica?
I just think about, the client experience, but I also think about the fact that in all of our meetings, or maybe not all of our meetings, but most of our meetings with our team, we do talk about we have a world to change. And there is a world to change. And as business owners, we are changing the world. And each of the clients that we have are changing their clients' worlds. And so it becomes this really beautiful experience of we do have a world to change. So let's change that world together with our clients, with their clients, and everybody around the world for sure.
That is impactful. That's pretty awesome. So E, it kind of that goes right into engagement. I'm always curious at entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, how they interact with their vendors, how they interact with their internal team, how they interact with their external teams. What are some of the things that you guys do? I'm privy to a little bit because of obviously the networking group that we're in, but how do you guys engage with the people that do business with you?
I'll say a funny phrase, which I'm borrowing from a gentleman I shared the stage with back in October in LA. We're talking to 400 group leaders in a networking group. And he said this phrase, lead with love. And that is no kidding how I lead with vendors, with clients, with my team. I know what they're suffering through. I literally know because I ask them. I don't say, hey, what are you suffering today? But rather, how are you doing? And what did you see that Hillary won the presidency? Like we get into it. And then we have real conversations around real life experiences and which leads us into, I got a 5th grader at home and they've got the flu right now. And my wife's in China, and then I've got clients over here I got to deal with. And our babysitter's sick also. So it's just the reality of being alive in the world. I lead in relationship. And I think that I'm best served with people who respond to that.
Awesome. And Monica, anything on the engagement side?
Well, definitely the know, like, trust. You know, the internet has been really helpful so that we've got this Zoom so we can actually see people. And the conversation is a lot different on a phone when you can't see responses. You can't see, are they washing the dishes? Are they even paying attention? Are they with me? You know, but when we're in this conversation, we can see each other's eyes. We can get it. And if somebody starts tearing up, like Rick said, I mean, there are conversations that we just as humans hold the space for another human and they get into something, and before we know it, there's tears. And it's that space where we can just be humans together. We can know each other. Once we like each other, we can trust each other, and then we can take the relationship to the next level.
Sweet. No, it's one of the most impactful for engagement feedback that you guys have shared on the channel. Hopefully, Go for CEO community, I would replay the last 30, 60, 90 seconds and really listen to how Rick and Monika talked about how they engage, right? Lead with love, know, like, and trust, and then feel that emotion come out of someone so they can really, really connect. So last one is operational excellence, right? Blitzby, you guys have talked about AI being a kind of a forefront and a leader in that space, and talking about communication and tools. What are some things, just from a high level, maybe some tools that you guys use specifically with any names or brands and things that you guys use?
Well, our collective listening is, how can we automate this? And so we always are listening from that particular lens. How can we automate this? So when people are talking about the processes that they're using in their business, the question always is, how can we automate this? And we have a tool called Click Riot where we can automate everything. And it's our own tool, and we use the tool. And the gift is it replaces so many levels of software, so everything lives under one umbrella. And for the business owner who here's a good example. I have over 150 cards right here. These cards are so useless unless you use them, which means getting them into your CRM and firing off a pre-written introduction campaign with just a click. Imagine scanning all of these into a CSV file, uploading them to your CRM, and then with one click, firing off an introduction campaign so that people can know you. They can actually be in relationship with you. So I have 10 quirky facts about Rick Hayhurst. And then I go into behind the scenes of Blitzby marketing, behind the scenes of the Gold Rush, behind the scenes of Click Riot, behind the scenes of On the Town, but with a click. So there's no time spent here. I can also leave them a voice message. So it doesn't ring their phone, but it goes onto their voicemail. Hey, it's Rick, by the way, just wanted to bother you today. Wanted to talk about Hillary, how well she's doing in the presidency. Just letting you know. And by the way, I'm going to shoot you a text. Don't be upset, but you can block me, like if you don't want me texting you. Thanks so much. And check your email. Maybe it went to spam, something like that. But again, useless. If there's no system set up to deal with this, it's useless. And imagine the trees that we just wasted, because these are all going into the trash. And and On the Town and our events that the three of us are producing with two of our friends, I ask people, hey, what are you going to do with that card? I saw you took that guy's card. What are you doing with it? Oh, I'm going to call him. Are you? Yes, I call everyone. Okay, great. What else do you do? I email them. Oh, do you? Yeah. Okay, so when you're calling, do you reach anybody? No. Is that 100% of the time? Yes. You really never reach anybody? Yes. Is that a good use of your time? Of course it is. Is it? This is a business person we're talking about. The answer is yeah, it's a good use of my time. And I'm like, you can't work for me. Like we can't, that's not good use of time. Yeah. And so then I go through this conversation, I just let it ride for a minute and I build it up. And then of course there's 20 cards. And I say, so what do you do with the 20 cards? Oh, no, I actually literally do. I called everybody and I email everybody. And I say, do you call like this? Yes. And do you email like this? Yes. Do you ever text them? Well, sometimes and do you text like this? Yes. And then we get on the conversation, and then I say, how many do you get? All 20? Well, actually, maybe 3 or 4. So we'll go from 20, 100% and committed to this to all the way down to 3 or 4. And I say, well, why? You mentioned you do 100%, which is 20. So how do you get to 3 or 4? Well, listen, man, I get tired of it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And what, like, why? And because I'm doing the same thing. I'm just leaving a message. I get tired of it. Oh, got you. And And so what happens then? I just get on with it. What happens to the other cards, 17 other cards? Well, nothing. Case closed. You just need a tool to set this up, scan these cards, and with a click, you have a voicemail, a text, an email. You've created a conversation for people to respond to and participate in that doesn't cost you any time, except click.
Click, baby. I love it. I love it. Those are, that putting those 4 or 5 different things that we all deal with, right? As a business owner, as a business development person, and in the background, right? Your collections, different departments of every business can use that constant communication opportunity, right? To engage with your clients or prospects. And I think everybody in a company is a salesperson, in my opinion, because you're always sharing what the idea is that you can solve, or what the problem is that you can solve with a great solution. So that was a really cool, powerful, 90 seconds there as well. So thank you so much for that, Rick. So ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel, by the way. I wanted to share that too. Become a part of the Go for CEO community. The book is coming in July, so I'm dropping little tidbits here and there. But Monika and Rick, what would you like to share as far as a way of communicating with you, reaching you, being able to do business with Blitzbee? What are some ways that people can get a hold of you?
It's www.blitzbee-marketing.com. And they can go there, or they can hit us up on our emails. It's rick@blitzbee.com or monika@blitzbee.com. Monika, Monika.
Nice, nice, awesome. Any parting words for those aspiring agency owners or people that need help, right? And that are a little bit worried about AI and all that type of stuff right now? Anything like that you'd like to share at the end?
Don't hesitate. The only thing I would say is don't hesitate. Just take action. Don't even consider your thoughts. Don't even consider your feelings. If you're drawn to do the thing, if you feel inspired in such a way, just jump. Like just get started. No need to hesitate or to wait. Just get started.
Monika?
Yeah, we have a world to change, and it all starts with us. So get started.
I love it. I love it. The 4th chapter is taking action in the Go for CEO book. After you've assessed, you've aligned yourself with the right people, you're taking accountability, take action, baby. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the Go for CEO channel, guys, and looking forward to having you again in the next 6 to 12 months and doing an update with you and sharing where Blitzbee's journey has been going and all the things that you guys are going up. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
John. We
you.
appreciate you so much.